Today we are taking a break from boat work and we are going on a small hike. The yard shuttle bus is taking us to the other side of the mountains here, and they are dropping us off on a small mountain trail, and hopefully it's a walk among monkeys. The weather is rainy today, so I don't know if that means it's a good chance for monkeys because the temperature is quite low, or if it's a bad chance for monkeys because they better like when it's hot. But we really hope to see monkeys, and by the end of the trail there should be a beach where we could actually go for a swim. So that will be the first swim in this warm weather since we left in May, 5 months ago.
I'm packing up all the stuff we need. We need some water, some apples, and some swimming clothes, bathing clothes, some snacks. What do you need when you hike? Some good shoes. I think we have most of it now. Just gonna fill up some water in this thermo flask thing.
After spending all our time in the yard, which is a super noisy place with constant hums and bangs, it was a very special feeling to step into the quiet forest. Here, the only thing one could hear was the cracking of the bamboo and the sounds of different animals. The area in which we are walking was a military base for the US Army during World War II. In fact, the whole Chaguaramas area, which also includes the location of our yard, was a huge vantage point for the Americans during the war. This radar tower tracking station was built after that, during the 1950s and the Cold War. It was built as part of a missile warning system. The site was abandoned by the Americans in 1971 and has been left like this since then. So actually this is our old septic tank. As you might have seen before, we had some problem with the welds leaking here on the top side. So we tried to manufacture a new one here in Trinidad, but it was way too expensive, much more than we wanted to put into it. So we had one made while we were in Sweden. We ordered one from Poland, and everything looked very promising, but the delivery got delayed. So it showed up at Marcus' parents' place the week after we left. So we have a brand new shiny tank in Sweden, and unfortunately it won't be possible to ship it here. It will take too long and cost too much. So we have tried to fix this one. Hopefully it will hold up. We have tried to leak proof the holes with some Sika, and we used that as a temporary fix last season, and it worked great. So hopefully this will work as well. We have some alternate solutions if it starts to leak again, but for now this will have to do, and then when we get back to Sweden we can put in the brand new one. But yeah, a bit annoying to have a shiny new one in Sweden and to have to put in this again. But yeah, what to do? We are in a remote place, and that's just life sometimes.
It would be a hell of a job to fit this old tank in the compartment again. It was a big project to get the old one out, and now it's a bummer that we have to squeeze the old one in again. This time I think we have to try something else, so to make it a bit easier. It's a very narrow fit, but still it's possible to take it in and out without demolishing or taking too many parts away from Linnea. So I think we will lubricate it with some olive oil or sunflower oil, so it can slip in more nicely when then it slipped out.
First step, the tank is on the toilet. We are almost there, but we have a gap here. That means that it won't fit in this corner, and now it's kind of stuck, so it doesn't move anymore.
Just a final push.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. It's there?
Yeah, it's inside. It's there. We got it in. Oh, high five. Oh, you look quite sweaty.
I feel quite sweaty.
While Emmy's cleaning the deck, I'm doing the last the mounting of the septic tank. The tank is remounted, and the next step is to check if it leaks. We checked it down below before we mounted it, but since we have now squeezed it in, it's good to check that every hose and all the connections and other stuff, and also the Sikaflex around all the welds, are watertight. We will fill it up from above, since the tank is super clean now. We have cleaned it with a lot of cleaning stuff, so we can fill it up and then empty it and see if everything is tight.
since it's so narrow, the gap here between us and the catamaran, they are trying to move us today. The only problem was that it was a bit too narrow, so they couldn't get us out. They made an attempt, but they had to put us back down and move Zelda that was on our other side. They moved her first, and now it's soon time to move Linnea again, so that we will have space to clean and polish. Good morning! Today is launch day, and we have one item still on the list, and that is to send Marcus up the mast to mount the wind transducer, and then we are going to clean up in here a bit. We emptied the storage room yesterday, and just as we got everything back to the boat, it started to rain. So we just put as much as we could in the boat. The cockpit is full and everything needs to be stowed away again. But we have a few hours, so it should be fine. Are you ready?
Soon ready. Just mounting the paddle wheel on the wind transducer. We broke this one of these paddle wheels just before we went back home to Sweden, and now I've been glassing it back together with some epoxy and some glass fiber actually. It looks good, and I think it will hold. It's not too bulky and it looks smooth and nice, so I think it will be great. Are you ready down there?
So Marcus is up in the mast there somewhere, and I'm down here. We have just checked that the transducer is working and that the lanterns are working, so everything good. I'm totally sweaty already. That's why we do it in the morning, because it's still quite cool temperatures for being Trinidad, and the sun is actually behind some clouds today, so it's pretty okay. But yeah, you might wonder why we're doing this while we're in the hard and not in the water, because that might feel safer, but it's actually a lot more comfortable for Marcus up there when the boat is still. So once we go in the water, there will always be a slight movement, and that movement will be quite a lot when you get 18 meters or almost 19 meters up in the air. The pendulum movement will be a lot bigger, so this is actually a lot nicer and probably a lot safer, because Marcus won't bang back and forth in waves. So rig check, wind transducer, lantern check, and we are going to put up a new hoisting system for our courtesy flags and some lines so that we can pull up the sail pack, and then we're done.
Just mounted the wind transducer and checking the nav lights and other parts up here in the mast before we launch again. So far everything looks good, and I'm heading back down to the first spreader. I'm ready to go down a bit.
Okay.
It's a hot day today, no afternoon rain as it has been now the past week. We have a splash in about 25 minutes and I think everything is done. I'm a bit nervous, haven't driven a boat since half a year. And it's a bit, the tide goes in and out here in the bay, so it can be a bit tricky with the streams. And it's also come some wind gusts, quite heavy ones, but yeah, not that heavy. I think I'm just nervous. Hopefully it will go well and Linnea can come safe to the harbor.
We are clear to launch. To launch.
To lunch.
To lunch. I have paid our bill and we have gotten our launch pass and we're good to go. The launch process normally takes about 30 minutes, but due to problems with another boat, this time it took 1 hour extra. The yard personnel handles the whole operation and everything is done in their set out routine, without anyone talking to one another. When the boat is in the water, they ask the captain to get on board to check for leaks before they remove the slings. This time everything looked great. She's in the water! How does it feel?
Ooh, a bit nervous still, but so far so good.
We are floating! Oh, and we are at the dock. It's a very rolly dock and we haven't used our sea legs for about 6 months, so it's not very comfortable right now. But I'm sure we're going to get used to it. The afternoon swell here can be pretty bumpy, but yeah, it feels really good. Everything went okay. Unfortunately, we had to wait for a catamaran that had issues with starting their engine, so we had to wait an hour in the slings. But we finally got there. Both GoPros died during the time in the sling, but yeah, there was nothing we could do about it. So here we are at the dock, and so hot. Believe it or not, but we are actually making the final preparations to sail out of here. We are cleaning the last parts of the boat, making some dinner, and in about 2 hours we are out of here. Feels really good. Also a bit nervous to start with an overnight sail, but hopefully everything will work out as it should and we should reach Grenada tomorrow morning. So that's it for this episode. It's maybe been a bit chaotic with all the boat work and yard things, but we are back to sailing. Feels really good. And a big thank you to our patrons. If you want to join the crew as well, you can follow the link below to sign up. And we will see you again next week. So until then, fair winds. Bye!